Welcome back. Kayode Hamed is in the studio. Good morning. Good to have you.
Take a while to call the Sunday, but I understand why. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Kayode. It's great to have you on the show.
Great to be back on the show.
Fantastic day to talk sports again, especially with what's going down in the NBA. And I know you're a big fan as well, too. And that's where we're going to start with you from now. We said at the start of the show that the Golden State Warriors and Philadelphia 76ers are into the semifinals of their respective conferences. And that's where we're going to take it from and check out some of the results and confirmation of those games played early this morning Nigerian times. The Milwaukee Bucks and the Celtics faced off, and it was a 92-87 victory for Boston, and Boston now leads that series 3-2. That looks like might go down to the wire, Cecilia. Elsewhere, we saw the Miami Heat and the 76ers, and the 76ers won 104-91. As a result, they are through to the semifinals. And for a team that won just 10 games just a couple of seasons ago, this is a remarkable rise to prominence. So the 76ers are in the semifinals in the Eastern Conference. And last but not the least, the Spurs and the Warriors. And the Warriors took care of business against San Antonio, winning 99-91. And they win that series 4-1 as well. So same scoreline between the 76ers and the Miami Heat. I mean, let's take it from where we stopped. Warriors and San Antonio. Did you expect any results? Cecilia was saying she expected a Game 7, and I didn't understand where she was coming from with that one, because I felt the San Antonio Spurs have struggled this season, and that's why they're so low.
In the ranking.
Exactly. That's why 7. So. Any surprises that they're out in 5 games?
Not at all.
Oh, okay.
They finished 7th in the regular season, meeting the Golden State Warriors.
We finished second.
Without Steph Curry, have done quite well with the likes of KD, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. But for San Antonio Spurs, at the beginning of the season, they lost Kawhi Leonard, who came back but wasn't fully fit, had to go back to rehab, and in a way, they struggled. Not the days of Tim Duncan anymore, who also retired. And the likes of Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, in a way, did not roll back the years. They had to solely rely on LaMarcus Aldridge. And LaMarcus Aldridge, who, despite the fact that he had 30 points in this game, was just the most influential player. Mills as well did well. Ginobili could just account for 10 points. But having gone 3-0 up in the first 3 games, you just couldn't look beyond the Golden State Warriors. Yes, Manu Ginobili did quite well in Game 4 to make it 3-1, but I felt it wasn't going to be beyond 5 games, and that we've seen Golden State Warriors do, winning it 4-1. Now to meet New Orleans Pelicans in the semifinals.
I know, you can't.
That's shocker of it.
Yeah, those ones, they stunned us already. They stunned everyone already. But before, let's just talk about the guys that played crucial, prominent roles in getting these victories for the Warriors and 76ers, as well as the Boston Celtics. Top performers on the night. You mentioned Kevin Durant already. Obviously, there's no Steph Curry. Someone else has to step up. And Kevin Durant did exactly just that on the night. It wasn't only Kevin Durant. There was also Hal Orford as well, too, for Boston Celtics. You can see him there. The Celtics, a lot of injuries as well, too, but they have players have really stepped up for them, and all of us scoring 22 points and grabbing 14 rebounds in that victory for Boston. The Cameroonian center, Joel Embiid, the process keeps shining.
You just have to trust the process.
And look at where the process is taking them to. Incredible. They had a very good game as well, to 19 points, 12 rebounds.
2 seasons ago,
Kevin Durant
they won just 10
scored
games.
And
right about now, the duo of Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, the Cameroonian, they remind me of the combination of Penny Hardaway and Shaquille O'Neal with the Orlando Magic in 1995, though they lost the finals to the Houston Rockets. And the experience of J.J. Redick, who moved from LA Clippers to join them as 76ers, has been quite phenomenal. And for me, they've surpassed the expectation of every avid follower of basketball. Even if they get defeated in the next round, I would say they've done quite well by their standard, but they would fancy their chances, knowing that they've broken barriers. They would want to go all the way and just watch out for them to cause upsets.
Okay. It's going to be between either Boston Celtics or Milwaukee Bucks, so that's who they're going to face.
Yes,
This is the Boston Celtics, Milwaukee Bucks.
For Boston Celtics, with the absence of Gordon Hayward and the poster boy talking about Kyrie Irving, I was a bit worried. But the likes of Al Horford, Terry Rozier, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Marcus Smart, who just returned from injury, who came from the bench and had a number of influence in the game. You would say the support cast have stepped up to the plate and are making their inclusion count. Right about now, for the Bucks, I expected much from the Greek freak, but Chris Middleton was the man on the night for Bucks. It will go down to Game 7.
This one's going to Game 7.
Definitely, it will go down to Game 7.
Oh.
The next game, Game 6, is going
back to Milwaukee.
Back to Milwaukee.
Okay.
I trust the Bucks to get making it 3-all. But the final game back to Boston, I'll give it to the Celtics.
Oh,
okay, so we're going to see 76ers and Celtics.
Okay, interesting. We'll see how that pans out. We'll see how it goes. Our matches will continue tonight in the NBA as well. So that's talking about the playoffs. The Wizards, Washington Wizards, will take on the Toronto Raptors. Series tied 2-2 as well. So this one, a lot of these ones are very competitive. The Pacers and the Cavaliers as well. So that's the potential. Banana peel skin for this one. 2-2 as well too. That series is tied. While for the Timberwolves and the Rockets, I expect the Rockets to handle business at Toyota Center later tonight. 3-1, they lead just one win, and they are through to the second round. And the Thunder, and this one, just one on this one. Thunder Jazz. This game has been very, 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 very spiky. I mean, the series, we've seen a lot of technical fouls. We've seen a lot of, handbags, if you put it that way, on the courts. And 3-1 for the Jazz. Do you think they'll get the job done?
Well, tempers are flared in this game, but for the Jazz, they came underrated.
Yes.
And Donovan Mitchell, rookie, who did quite well in the slam dunk contest and the All-Star game in Los Angeles earlier in the year, combining quite well with rookie Ricky Rubio. They've surpassed expectations.
Absolutely.
For the Thunder, I'm somewhat disappointed.
Yes,
if you have MVP of last season, Russell Westbrook, and if you have the experience, well, MVP of this season should be James Harden. And if you have the experience of Carmelo Anthony and PG-13, Paul George, there's a certain Steven Adams. And you're asking yourself, what is going on?
Brewer as well. I mean, you can go on.
KD moved on 2 seasons ago, and they coped quite well. They kind of beefed the team up and reinforced with Carmelo Anthony from New York Knicks, PG-13 from Indiana Pacers.
Goridov or Oladipo.
Oladipo, who is doing well with the Pacers now. And I'm wondering why they're struggling against a side that has got no notable personnel.
Donovan Mitchell is young. Yeah, as a rookie.
Ricky Rubio, for me, has just been maybe a second best, but thus far he has stepped up to the plate.
Yes,
and I fancy the Utah Jazz going all the way, getting to the semifinals in the Western Conference. And yeah, I think the OKC, they're out of sorts.
Yeah.
They're struggling. Something seems not to gel with them at the moment, and the Utah Jazz will just capitalize to get into the semifinals.
Right, we'll see. Tomorrow, right, we'll find out.
We'll see what happens. We're going to have 2 teams joining in the semifinals.
We'll see about that.
2 already.
Right.
Okay, where do we go from here? Nigeria Women's League. Okay, we'll talk about the Super Eagles here. Match day 3 or games happening today. A lot of fixtures, a lot of interesting ones that obviously coming up, and everyone will be looking forward to the game between Confluence Queens and Rivers Angels. But we'll just reel it out from the Group A and the Group B. We know how it usually works. Sometimes when you look at this, some of these teams, you expect some of them to perform really very well, but then sometimes you get a shocker. Now in Group A, we'll be expecting Edo Queens and Heartland Queens to be in action in that Group A. Then also in Group A, you have Confluence Queens and Rivers Angels, one I talked about earlier. Shaw Babes and Delta Queens will also be in action. Then you have Barreso Queens and Ibom Angels also in action. They come down to Group B, where you have Jokudolu Babes and FC Robo. They'll also be in action today. Pelican Stars and Sunshine Queens. You have Oshun Babes and Nasarawa Amazons, of course, Adamawa Queens, and also Abia Angels. Judging by what happened in Week 1 and Week 2, you know that we're going to have another fireworks today.
Are you expecting fireworks? Just 3 games into the season.
Well, a bit. But the usual suspect will still dominate the headlines. From the Rivers Angels, Nasarawa Amazons, and maybe FC Robo from Lagos. They were in and around trying to upset the apple cart, but at the end of the day, it was between the duo of Nasarawa Amazons and Rivers Angels. Well, it's still early in the day to actually predict and say maybe one team would kind of try to
run away with the
headlines and what have you, but you just can't look beyond
those two sides.
Nasarawa Amazons, Rivers Angels, maybe Delta Queens.
Delta Queens, okay.
Yeah, maybe Delta Queens and FC Robo.
Okay, we'll see what's going to happen. And if you check Ocean Babes, they had some new signings, about 12 players that they had to bring into the squad. I'll be expecting some of these girls to actually, you know, play in this particular
what remains to be seen.
Well, we'll see what's going to happen. And if you check, okay, we just say the fifth now, 1 point they got. Nasarawa Amazons 4 points. They won, draw one against FC Robo. Remember the opening game, and they won the second game. But this one just played one game. I mean, the girls they've signed. You're loving this, right?
Well, look, all the girls, they all, obviously, they all have their game faces on, and they look like they're ready to take the pitch, take to the pitch, like, immediately, we get to see some of them in action. And later today, and hopefully they can help the team, because that's why they've been signing, help the team, you know, get the required victory. They take on Nasarawa Amazons, though, and Nasarawa, arguably the best side in the league this season from last year, exactly. So it's going to be a very tough one for them, but you never know. It's football, you know, as I say, it's a cliche, but anything does really happen in football. Anything can happen.
But if you check Nasarawa Amazons, not been able to win at home against FC Robo in the opening game, it was a
draw. So that means that they're motivated to go and win.
And this one, they went the way to Calabar against Pelican, and they got the points there. So it simply means they might just have all the 3 points with the superstars.
With the superstars, indeed. We'll see how those games pan out later today. And rest assured, we'll bring you the results tomorrow on the show from the Nigerian Women's Football League. It's time to talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And the coach, technical advisor, Genaro, is on record as saying the team is not fully ready for the World Cup, with just 50 days to go. And I don't know if you're worried out there. And Kayode, I don't know if you're worried as well too, for the coach to be saying the team is not ready, 50 days to go.
But I'd like to see it as cup half full. Saying they are not ready means they're still work in progress.
They're still working, okay.
Though some people want to say, maybe press the panic button and say, how can the gaffer of the Super Eagles come out with a few days to the World Cup saying they are not ready? When you look at the boys, they're doing quite well. It might just help their psyche to up the ante, knowing that the coach is saying they are not fully ready for them to even work harder to impress. A number of them have been doing quite well lately for their respective clubs.
Right.
And it's about who wants it more, who impresses more, who gets into the mind of the handlers at the national team that will make the final 23-man short list. I don't think it's anything to worry about because the team will still likely do well beyond the first round. And for me, if they go further than the second round or even the quarterfinals, it will be success. I don't want to really think that that they are not ready, that we should press the panic buttons. Pianotro, I believe, knows what he's doing. And will get the best legs to represent us at the World Cup. Interesting.
Let's listen to the man himself now. In his own words. Okay, we'll try and get to hear from Genaro definitely later on the show. But the story out there, the word out there is that the Super Eagles are not fully ready. So Al-Qaeda says it's just trying to keep the guys on their toes, and we'll see how it pans out. We need to go on a break now. When we come back, we'll be listening to Genaro on Nigeria's readiness for the World Cup.